This is the second piece of flash fiction published by Kitab International. Kitab, based in Singapore, brings South Asian writers to global audiences. The Actress. The Dinkler Motor Inn on James Street in Syracuse was where the theatre people stayed. You never knew when you would run into someone famous. While he was finishing his graduate studies, Hassan started working there a few days a week. He was hired as a busboy, and his duties, it was explained, were essentially to set the tables for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and to clear the tables after each meal. Twice a week, there was a very popular all-you-can-eat lunch buffet, and he had to help set out all the food, replenish items as needed, and clear up afterwards. For many years after, Hassan hated the sight of a buffet table. The Dinkler was a busy place, and Hassan had enough to do with all that was required of him as a busboy. But he found that he was also expected to do the work of a bellboy. And if he was not working as a busboy or bellboy, he was always given some other little task, like putting out the deck chairs or sweeping the vestibule. Still, it was fun, and the people he worked with were great. He had had a bit of a fling with one of the hostesses, but they were now just friends. George, who was the dishwasher, was always up for a convivial drink after work. One of the perks of the job was free meals. Joe Puma, the assistant chef, took a liking to him, and when he was in a good mood, would treat him to what he called the Joe Puma special. It was an omelette in which he included every possible ingredient that ever went into an omelette. As I was saying, the Dinkler was the place where the theatre people stayed. Many of the actors and others who came during Hassan's time there are not household names now. But guests at the Dinkler included Broderick Crawford, who had won an Oscar, and Peggy Cass, an actress who was perhaps best known as a game show participant. John Carradine was another person Hassan got to see, and in fact had a long chat with him when he took a drink out to him by the swimming pool. They talked about A Man for All Seasons, which John Carradine was going to be directing. It was George who told him that a really famous actress was going to be in town and would be staying at the Dinkler. Like many famous actors and actresses who came to the rather dreary town that Syracuse was, she was no longer in her prime, but she was still a real celebrity. A day or two later, Hassan ran into her in the dining room. In fact, he almost literally ran into her as he was hurrying through the entrance to the dining room with a heavy tray. She stepped to one side to let him pass, and he clumsily stepped aside in the same direction. "Shall we dance?" she said. And he found himself unable to say anything other than a mumbled apology. Hassan had never seen such an astonishingly beautiful and charming person in his life. At least that is what she seemed to him. Hassan looked for her the next couple of days he was there that week, but she didn't come down either for breakfast or lunch. Quite late in the afternoon, on the last day he was scheduled to work there that week, he was asked to take up a room service order to her room. He knocked on the door and she let him in. She looked quite a different person altogether. She was wearing a fairly ordinary housecoat. The face that had dazzled him seemed like that of any average middle-aged housewife. She had no makeup on, and although it was fairly dark in the room, had dark glasses on. He sensed that she might have been crying. "Thank you," she said. Are you busy? Could you stay with me for a while? He was taken aback. Not sure how to respond, he said nothing. Don't worry, she said. I won't bite. There was a time when I might have tried to seduce you. I am past such games now. The old story, an older woman taking pleasure in practicing her wiles, the princess and the bellboy, tormenting an innocent and vulnerable young man. I just want a moment shared with someone who will listen to me and spare a kind thought for me. Is that okay? You don't have to be somewhere doing something. It's okay. I only work till 3 and it's past that. Just sit with me for a while. My husband called. He wants a divorce. And I had tried so hard. I had so hoped that this marriage would work. I've had many lovers and 6 marriages. I realize now that all these men have been dazzled by my beauty, but no one has loved the real me. I'm sorry to hear about your marriage, ma'am. She was silent for a while. He sat there in the darkened room, not quite sure what else to say. She turned towards him and spoke again, her voice soft and sad. Well, at least I can hope it will be my last divorce. Do you have a girlfriend or someone you love? Not right now. I was serious about her, but she broke it off. Well, I hope you find someone who really loves you for what you are. I'm sorry to have thrown all this at you. It's all so unlike me, but my husband's phone call has left me feeling so empty and alone. I needed to talk to someone, preferably a stranger who could be completely objective. Just sit with me for a while. I won't say anything, and I don't want you to say anything. Just sit by my bed and hold my hand.